You're listening to the LowDown podcast, brought to you by Sigma Kappa National Headquarters staff. We'll focus on topics like health, wellness, the fraternity and sorority community, higher education, and life skills that women need in all stages of their lives. We'll also feature stories from inspiring and empowering Sigma Kappas. Check out the Sigma Kappa website for regular updates and new episodes.
Hi, and welcome to the LowDown podcast. I'm Morgan Negri.
And I'm Meredith Trapper.
And we took a break in 2020 when quarantine started, so we want to take a second to reintroduce ourselves as the new hosts of the LowDown podcast in 2021. So Meredith, do you want to start and take a moment to give us what your background is, like where you went to school, what your role is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to school at the University of Central Missouri. It's near Kansas City, for those of you who don't know. I got a degree in public relations and then immediately joined staff after graduation and started in August of 2019 as the social and digital media specialist.
Awesome.
So Morgan, what about you? Tell us kind of a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I went to school at the Art Institute of Indianapolis, where I studied design and interactive media. On that campus, wasn't technically a campus. There was really no sorority life, no organizations of that kind. So this was my first experience with anything sorority life. But when I saw this job opportunity come up and recognized that it was for a women's organization and for like this kind of role, it really felt like a good opportunity. So I was kind of all over it immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super interesting. There are a few of us here on staff who aren't Sigma Kappa ourselves, myself included, but Morgan and I are both on the same team for the communication team, and it's been fun to get her outside lens. Like I mentioned, I'm also not a Sigma Kappa myself, but have grown to know and love the organization. I was a part of fraternity and sorority life on my campus as an undergrad and was a part of a different organization, but we did have a Sigma Kappa chapter on my campus. And so Sigma Kappa has always been near and dear to my heart. I feel like now I'm very fortunate to have two organizations that I truly love.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you talked about like coming straight from school to Sigma Kappa. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think coming directly to a role in higher education and fraternity and sorority life was a very easy transition for me. Everyone was so welcoming. I was a little nervous not being a Sigma Kappa, what that would be like joining staff, but very, very positive. Everyone, wanted to help me. It was a pretty easy transition.
Awesome.
I hear oftentimes from people and my friends who have various roles that they don't use what they learned in school, and that blows my mind because I'm like, every day I use my strategic thinking from public relations and what I learned on my campus and apply it to social media and strategy and daily functions here on staff.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? I mean, you said you saw the opportunity at Sigma Kappa, and obviously we are so fortunate to have you, but what did you do before you joined staff here?
So I did not jump right into higher ed right out of school. I started at like a promotional products company and then transferred into marketing. And after a couple of years doing that, I felt like I was looking for a new role, and that's when this opportunity came up. So I have that like background in marketing a little bit. I was their designer. I did a lot of I think the most fun work I did before this was like pamphlets for plays, those kinds of things, programs. Nice. That's what they're called. And that kind of thing. So transferring from like that very like corporate-y environment to one of like higher ed has been a huge transition, especially without having a lot of background in sorority life. We've talked about it before, but the acronyms I think were probably the hardest thing that I had to deal with when I got on staff. Everybody was so sweet and so nice, but half the time I did not know what they were talking about. And it was loads of fun. Again, like Meredith said, a lot of the people here are just so helpful and so willing to just like dive right in with you and really work it out.
Yeah, I definitely say that Morgan has an advantage in that area because the acronyms are very hard to learn. But for a while when I first started on staff, it was really hard for me to take my organization's acronyms, which are similar but slightly different and mean different things, and try to apply it to Sigma Kappa. So I feel like now we're a year and a half in, and I can confidently say I know the acronyms, but it definitely took some time to get.
Yeah, it's like I started with a clean slate at least, so I was completely new to it. Got to learn instead of unlearn.
Yes. So Morgan and I are both here in the office today, which is super exciting.
Which is awesome.
It's the first time we are really back at national headquarters and get to see each other face to face for quite some time. We've been working remotely, like many of you, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, it's been a wild ride for all of us. I've heard so many stories, but Meredith, what was quarantine like for you at the jump? What has it been like from going from working in the office full time to working from home?
Yeah, so I'm definitely a person who like thrives on interactions. No shock being on the communication team here that I am a people person, and I love getting to meet new people, work with people. Yes, to communicate, exactly. So I think that was super hard for me switching to this virtual world, truly. So I went back to St. Louis. I'm originally from the St. Louis area, and hung out with my family for a couple months. Was very, very nice to get to spend some time with them again and kind of just hang out. But I think now I'm used to it. Definitely took some time. Miss people, miss the interactions, but Morgan and I were saying earlier that we feel like we've gotten to know our coworkers more, just because you do have that personal life going on in the background, even though you're working.
Yeah, like we're literally in their homes with them. So when somebody spills Cheerios all over the table, or when there's an emergency, we're kind of right there with them a little bit. I mean, I don't have to clean up the milk, but
What about you, Morgan? Highs, lows of working from home?
So yeah, I started my role in March of 2020. So as you can imagine, it was right at the beginning of quarantine. So that was really crazy. On top of, transferring from a traditional office space, but into a new office space completely, and doing it virtually and meeting everybody virtually online, meeting everybody online for the first time was really crazy. It was
absolutely
definitely a challenge, but it went okay. I think we did as good as we could given the circumstances. At the same time, while that was going on, I was actually engaged and planning a wedding. So really, I say like starting a new role wasn't nearly as difficult as like getting married in 2020. I think I've joked that I would not recommend that. I'm happy with my husband. He's wonderful, but maybe 2019 would have been a better year.
Yeah, I definitely remember like Morgan joining staff, and that was the first week that we decided to work virtually.
Yes.
And just feeling so bad for her, because I'm like, wow, this is going to be so different, but she handled it with grace. And on top of planning your wedding and getting everything, you would never know the struggles behind the scenes if there were
any.
It
was so funny because I remember thinking, do I have a job? Because I resigned from my old position, and our supervisor Diane was like, yes, you're starting, please, you have to start. And so I was like pretty much like onboarded pretty quickly. It was very funny.
Yeah, we definitely threw her in the deep end right away. We were like, okay, we have all these projects for you, and go.
Yeah, I was like, well, it'll be delayed. She's like, we can't delay, it's got to start today.
But it's been really fun to have her on staff and get her lens, and we're enjoying it. And like I said, it's been super nice to actually be in person.
Yeah.
Today.
It's like sitting across from somebody as a real person in a real situation. It just feels really good.
Absolutely.
We want to talk a little bit about the purpose of our podcast. We're going to have some experts in their fields come in, talk to us about their experiences, their expertise on a lot of things. Hope to learn a lot. We've had some really awesome guests in the past. We're excited to do that again in 2021 as we move away from the quarantining and back a little bit to the normal. Yeah, and it's generally going to be open to like all experiences. It won't just be Sigma Kappa, though we do have some really wonderful members of staff we're hoping to bring in and to talk about it from a Sigma Kappa lens. I think specifically the life LowDowns is where that'll come into play. And moving forward, we're hoping to do this monthly. We're going to be back on track. You're going to see us in 2020 or hear us in 2021, and we're excited to get back into the groove of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Morgan said, we have some great staff members and just members in general of Sigma Kappa, and we want to continue that trend of highlighting some of our members and accomplished members through the life LowDowns. And since Morgan and I aren't Sigma Kappas ourselves, we thought it would be really great to get some guests to kind of help us interview some of these amazing members and women of our own organization. So definitely looking forward to that as we move along here.
Yeah, some new voices, some voices you might have heard before. The whole shebang.
Yeah. Also, for those of you who don't know, we have a YouTube channel on the Sigma Kappa YouTube channel. And we are hoping to get our podcast also up on the YouTube channel. So you can check us out on our website through Apple Music, Google Play, whatever you use to listen to your podcasts, and also YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's super fun.
Yeah, you should check it out. A lot of our staff has worked super hard on it this year. And yeah, we're so excited to be back, and we can't wait to tackle 2021 with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Morgan and I a little bit here. We're super excited to see what 2021 holds for us. If you have any ideas for the podcast or things that you want to hear on this, make sure you go to the Sigma Kappa website, sigmakappa.org, and you can submit any ideas you might have.
Yeah, that's always important. We love hearing from our members, and we hope to talk to you guys soon.
Bye.